It's Women's Month, and the African Women Chartered Accountants Forum held an award ceremony to recognize women in leadership. Businesswoman and social entrepreneur Irene Charnley was bestowed with the prestigious Women of Substance Award at this year's event. The event also raises funds for the African Women Chartered Accountants Bursary Fund. Charnley joins us virtually from here in Johannesburg for more. Irene, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. This is certainly not the first award that you have received. But what does it mean to you to be acknowledged in this way, and indeed by something called the Women of Substance Award?
No, thank you so much, and good evening to you and your leaders, your listeners. You know, when I received it, I know I've received many awards before, but for me, receiving this award, I was really humbled, you know, and thrilled at the same time when, you know, to be receiving such a kind recognition from an organization like the African Women Chartered Accountants, which is AWCA, you know. So it's an organization I greatly admire, because this is an organization that consists of women of substance themselves, you know, and it's also an organization who have been accelerating the advancement of Black female chartered accountants in our country. So this is such an amazing organization. So I was really, really humbled by this. And as I said, I was thrilled also because being recognized, you know, at the same time, it makes all the hard work, you know, feel worthwhile over time as well.
Now, you have taken up positions in boardrooms across the country in various positions over the last few decades. But shiny tables and comfortable leather chairs have not always been your world. Your career goes back to being a trade unionist and a key negotiator for the National Union of Mine Workers, and you're in those kinds of circles for some 13 years. If you think back to that time, what did that time in your life teach you that you still implement while you are in these fancy boardrooms right now?
You know, what is quite significant about the labor movement, it set the foundation. I'm not talking many years ago, not like just 20 years ago, we're talking 30 years ago, you know. But what has happened is that an organization like the National Union of Mine Workers set the foundation for us to become future leaders, because you become fearless, you're determined, you want to bring about change, you know, into the lives of people. And remember, when we started off, you know, in the labor movement, we really fought hard to improve the working conditions of poor workers, mine workers. So when I got into the boardroom from the labor movement, that determination was there, because we then decided that it is time for us to bring about change in corporate South Africa, ensuring that we bring Black people, you know, into the executive management position, into senior management positions. You know, we looked at increasing the percentages. I remember at the time at MTN, we looked at 40 to 50% Black people in senior management. And then we moved from there to say women needs to be in those positions as well. Then it came to procurement, because remember, we also needed to ensure that Black people participate in the economy. So as companies, we insisted that procurement needs to look at providing opportunities for small and medium enterprises, for women enterprises, for Black enterprises, you know, and this is how we had to fight in the boardroom all these years. And now we're in a situation where women, you know, the issue is where's women now in this situation? And if you look at the AWCA, what they have done over the years, they have ensured that at least 1,500 Black female accountants have been funded, have been mentored, have been coached. They took them by the hand, led them, and many of those chartered accountants are now occupying positions in companies, you know, in corporate South Africa, in the public and the private sector. And you know what was quite significant about this award and the function of last night was the fact that some of the women who've been developed are now, you know, they are COOs, they are CEOs, they are executive directors in companies, and they are now the ones who are paying it forward as well to ensure that the function, for example, of AWCA last night was funded by such organizations like Standard Bank. You've got Ms. Funeka, who was ensuring that they funded. You've got the African Investment Holdings, which is Cindy Mabaso, and these are chartered accountants and women of substance themselves who are saying, we are paying it forward, we need to develop. So now what is next is for us to ensure that women, what are we now going to do? Because I believe that in the next year to two, these thousands of women who have been developed by both the AWCA as well as the International Women's Forum South Africa, which is the organization I'm president of, that the women that are being developed, that where we are paying it forward, that those are going to become the leaders of tomorrow. They must occupy, bring ethical leadership into politics, into business, and everywhere that we look at, in the arts and in the science. And these are what we are looking for and still striving for.
Just one final question before I let you go, Irene, because we have run out of time. When you survey the corporate landscape right now, you spoke about women who are paying it forward because doors and windows were opened for them to proceed as well. Do you, however, think that what is still very much a male-dominated business executive landscape especially, is gender equality in those spaces accepted as important for business to progress and to grow? Or is it still seen as just a ticking of the boxes and a crossing of the T's and dotting of the I's?
Very good question. Many businesses see this as a tick box exercise, but there are many other businesses who are seeing it as real transformational. They have to do it. And you know, this is one of the reasons why we are ensuring both AWCA and IWFSA. We are saying that we have to continue to fight to ensure that we have gender equality. 50% of positions must be in the hands of women, of female executives, female management, as well as procurement. 50% of procurement of businesses should go to women. And that is what we are striving for. It's no more time for tick boxing. Those companies, we are trying to ensure that we actually get legislation around that so that it has to be implemented. It's a must. If we want to be successful, we need to do that. Otherwise, we are just going to go backwards, and we cannot afford that in today's society. This fight has been coming on too long.
Absolutely. We're going to leave it there. Irene Charnley is the African Women Chartered Accountant Forum's a Women of Substance Award winner at an award ceremony that was held this week. We thank her for her time this afternoon.